Test one. Test 1, 2, 3.
So, dear respected Thai, dear venerable monks and nuns, and dear brother and sister, first of all, we would like to welcome everyone for the day of mindfulness. And today is the question and answer. So before that, we will listen to 3 sounds of the bell. So to start for the question and answer. So when you hear the sound of the bell, please go back to your mindful breathing and relaxing your body and letting go on the worry thinking in your mind from the past to the future. Be present in the present moment. So now you can sit upright and relax. So dear respected Thai, dear venerables and dear Sangha, first of all, I would like to introduce our brother and sister who sit up here. Before I came here, I told to my younger sister that we're going to have a battle between us and you. So are you nervous? And she's smiling. Oh, okay. So, but I feel a little bit nervous. Long time I didn't give question answer, and so ready to go. Okay, I would like to introduce my brother who sits next to me. His name is Niệm, meant the energy of mindfulness. Yeah. You know, I met him in Thai Plum Village when he was novice. And you know, I am one of the Dhamma teacher who give teaching the class. And in that time, he was still novice, and I am the teacher. I give a teaching the Buddha, the Dhamma to him. And now he's sitting here with me. You see that? Amazing. So you know that time, impermanence, everything goes ahead. But sometimes I feel I'm still here. So the far from the sister Đăng Nghiêm means adornment by light. Well, I met her when 26 years ago, when in Vietnam, when she just a novice. And during that time, she just about 16 or 17 years old. Hả? 16 years hả? Không phải 26 hả? Okay. Okay. She said 16 years. Oh, this morning I calculated it's about 26 now. Okay. And you know, she was about 16 or 17. She was a novice. And I also her teacher. I teach the Buddha teaching, you know. But now she also sits here as the Dhamma teacher. You see that? Wow, we give a flower to two of them. So today, please don't worry to come up. Give many questions that you like. My brother and sister will give the answer. Joke. Okay. I don't want to make them scared. Just make fun. Okay. So this morning, the question, please, we would like you to ask the question about your question about the practice. A very concrete question about practice, about your difficulty in your life, or any question you think that if the answer can bring you happiness and can bring the people around you, the audience can learn from your question. And as usually, as my brother and sister said, the good question is not the long question. So it's make it clear and concise. And also we have time limit. So we will try our best to share our answer today. So now I would like to invite any one of you come up here and to be brave, give the question and answer. We have the microphone here. Yeah, time is precious. So don't let the time pass by. Please come up. Okay, sorry. Please, gentlemen. Sit here. Wait. You know, my brother just reminded me very important. I had to introduce my name. Okay, my name is Sister Hoa Nghiêm, adornment by flower, and the people call me Sister Flower. It's short and remember, easy for you to remembering. Okay, now we end the question. We begin with one sound of the bell. Breathe, and then after you speak your question.
Hello? Whoa. I just wanted to say thank you so much. The first time I was here was about 7 years ago with my professor. So he introduced me, and I have 2 new members here. So always had very, very beautiful experiences. We were driving on the way here, and I thought of a question about meditation. Sometimes you have these mystical experiences, very emotionally charged, explosive or out-of-body experiences. And I parallel this a lot with the feeling of almost like the drive here or when you're brushing your teeth. They seem so normal, you know, the daily life, which can also be a beautiful thing, of course. I'm not ascribing like boring or anything to it, but can you just explain your perspective, like the dynamism of really charged, exciting, awakening experiences or an emotional moment with that kind of flat, steady part of life too? You know, how to both seem meaningful, but I don't think I have the full answer yet. So I hope it makes sense. Thank you.
She would like you to short the question, yeah, to make summarize.
What is the thread of meaning between extremely deep spiritual experiences and the normal life?
They asked me to answer first. But I forgot one thing, that this week we have two group of students. One group is from Kunilo student, and one group from Perking Community College. Yeah, two group of students is about 40 people. So we are very welcome and happy to receive you for this weekend retreat. So as I understood your question about the ordinary life and about the deep practice meditation, of course, when I hear you share, I understood about how to be calm when emotion arise, yeah, or when your mind a lot of how you say it's something like restlessness. You know, some people they're very enthusiastic, very active in the mind, right? And they're only thinking this and that, and how to be calm and still, right? So at the practice of mindfulness, establishment, the four establishment of mindfulness. You know, this morning I read the sutra, Prajna Paramita Sutra, and I'm surprised because I saw, I read in the sutra, and the Buddha described the way of how to contemplation the mind in the mind, how to contemplation the body in the body. So it relates to your question, you know. So it's very simple practice. When you stand, you know that you are standing. When you sit, you know that you are sitting. When you drink, you know that you are drinking. When you eat, you know that you are eating. That is the contemplation, the body in the body. So when you are happy, you know that you are happy. When you sad, you know that you are sad. When your emotion arise, you know that your emotion arrive. So this is contemplation, the mind in the mind. And if we practice that every day, your awareness very strong. So even though you did not aware that you were, for example, you walk, you didn't think, oh, I am walking. You didn't say, you don't need to say, I am walking, but you know that you are walking. And when you drink, you don't need to say, I am drinking in your mind, but you know that you are drinking. That means your mindfulness is your body, in your blood, in your mind. So when you emotion arise and you see right away, oh, my emotion arise, and you come back to your breathing and you breathe, you know. So the practice is not like you got the power right away, you got the result right away. You need to practice every day. It's like you plant the seeds of the flower. We need to make a soil. We need to water. So the seed become the very young tree and give the flower. So the practice mindfulness the same thing. That's why the society now, many people, without the practice, so many violence happen in our society. So many people make a suicide. Why? Because they cannot control their emotion. When the emotion arrive, you know, they can shoot the people. They can kill the people. When the anger, the hatred arrive, because they didn't know. They are hatred, they are anger. They become anger and they become hatred. So they can kill people easily. One thing, when the people make a suicide, why? When emotion arrive, control them. They became emotion. So when they kill themselves, it's not them, it's emotion kill themselves. So the practice of for establishment of mindfulness is simple but very, very concrete, very foundation and very power, you know. So the practice of mindfulness, like the body in the body, the mind in the mind, is rescue many people in our society now. That's why Thai, our teacher, teach every time he came here to US. He just this very simple practice, the meditation practice, you know. So when you practice into the day, when you ring the chi, when the mind come up, your happiness, you see, oh, I'm happy. Or when you jealousy, you know that you are jealousy. That is the deep practice. But we need to be practiced every day, you know. So this is my experience. I cannot say you will get like this, but if you don't practice, I cannot do anything. I cannot help. Even Buddha, even Jesus, even God, no one help you, only you. So it's okay for your answer. Thank you very much for listening. If someone wants to come, just come. Now the teacher is coming.
Thank you. Thank you. There we go. Thank you, sister and sisters and brother. So I have a 17-year-old son who's been coming to Blue Cliff for the last 11 or 12 years, and very much loves this community, knows how to practice mindfulness. And he lives in the moment, and he squeezes everything he can get out of every day. He's very present, he's very active, he's going to be the drum major next year in the marching band, and he's every day is full, and he has a "This Is It" t-shirt that he wears proudly once a week. So very, very present. And I was thinking about the Dharma talk yesterday, where a brother told us, he gave us 7 things sort of not to do, and then a list of some things to do. And so he talked about how you don't want to live in the past or live in the future. And so another piece of advice was, on the positive side, to think about who you want to be in what you want to do. So, I encourage everyone to think about that, right? Who do I want to be? What do I want to become? So I can't get my son to think about college, even though he should be going to college soon. He has to start applying for school. So I'm wondering about how to sort of balance those two things of being present but also planning in a wise way.
Dear respected Thầy, dear brothers and sisters, dear community, sitting here, I tell to myself that I will feel the question, then I can answer the one that I feel like I love to answer it. And when I listen to your question, testing, yeah. I feel it so close to me. When I was younger, I also have that question, who I want to be. And until now, I still have the question to asking to myself every day that what I want to do. And, when I was younger, I know that I just want to be a happy nun. And it's very easy at my first 3 and 5 years in the monastic life. And after that, happiness is not much easy as the first part of my path. And until now, I am practicing to letting go of the notion about happiness. And I just accept the situation, accept whatever comes to me. And I learn to live in the way that I open my mind, open my heart to accept first. And always I asking to myself that what I have been done to my life and what I want to do. It's not, that is also very interesting practice. If we are not mindful enough, so we are easily to lose ourselves in our thinking. And we use the time of sitting meditation to imagine, to visualize 3 years or 5 years later. Sometimes it wastes of our time. But if we know that while we planning, while we preparing for our near future, but we are still master of our feeling. We are still master of what we are thinking, what we are doing. So we are going on the right path. And we teach people, we teach everyone that living in the present moment. But it doesn't mean that we are not allowed to plan for the future. Actually, Plum Village always plan for at least 6 months in advance. Actually, like that. But after the meeting, after we finish our plan, we leave it there, and we just open and accept whatever will come. And we're easy to change if we need to make a change. And sitting here, I am also have the feeling like you and your son have a distance of generation, a gap generation, just like me and my sister. in in a month. In the monastery, we call her mother, sư mẹ. She's just like our mother in the Dharma. She took care of me when I was a teenager, and 10 years later, we met each other here again because after Thailand, she went to USA first, and then I lived 7 years in France, and 10 years we live again with each other here. And you know, at first we were very happy to be with each other again, but then we found out that sư mẹ told me that Đăng Nghiêm, you are different. Because I think she has the image of me when I was younger, when I was small, when I was a novice. And after 10 years, I got to myself the experience in the practice. I live, I work, I serve, and I also have my own experiences. And when we meet each other again, we both practice to accept who we are now. She have to accept who I am now, and I also have to practice to accept my mother now. She is. Yeah, and we all have to practice. And she always encouraged me to do the right thing and remind me when I do something wrong. And she also gave me the space to make the decision and what I want to do. And I really appreciate that. And I also have also practiced to myself to accept my mother in the Dharma, like she is now. I think the conclusion of my answer is we are allowed to plan for the future, but don't lose ourselves for why we're planning or thinking about that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, answer. Now we all know we are. So another question. Actually, the Buddha didn't say you're not allowed to thinking of the future. The Buddha never said that. Look at the sutra, on the sutra, you will see the Buddha just said you can thinking of the future, but not let yourself, but the five skandha like form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness carry by the future. Yeah.
Thank you. We usually are our most authentic selves in our personal lives, and then in our professional lives, we are working. How can we be our most authentic selves in our professional lives as well. Speak authentically, listen authentically. When there are certain things that are expected of us that we have to do.
Can you repeat the question again?
You repeat again your question clearly.
In our professional life, we go to work every day. There are certain things that we have to do, whether we like them or believe them. So how can we be our most authentic self at work? How do we speak authentically? How do we listen authentically?
So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for your question.
Good morning, Brother M. I have met you before.
Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity to share with you about my experience, about working. I am a monk now, but I was the tailor in the past. Yes, before I became a monk, I worked for 10 years. And then, to me, getting a job, and then to, it's sometimes very stressful for me. Yes. And then, would you to when I knew about this practice, and then I learned how to, how to listen to myself, how to understand myself. If I can understand myself, and then I can speak well with others, then I can work well with my job. Yes, because normally in our daily life, we have the tendency to speak or to work without habit, but we cannot understand ourselves. We cannot, we don't know about our problem. We don't know about our, shortcoming. But we just want to do with our habit in general. Yes, to me, to understand ourselves, to to understand all our problem or our happiness inside of us. That is the main thing. And then if we have the clear mind, we have the, all the understanding in our mind, and we can, work well, or we can speak well. And then, yeah, that is my answer. Thank you for your question.
So, anyone?
Oop, thank you for having. Sorry. Thank you for having me. But you guys discussed how to be mindful of your emotions when you're feeling stress or anger or frustration, acknowledging that I am stressed, I am angry, and so on. But my question is sort of, how does this acknowledgement of our emotions sort of help manage them? I mean, I don't want to feel angry specifically, but I'm not sure if acknowledging it, and I feel like I am aware of my emotions, but how does this awareness sort of help manage these emotions?
Thank you for your question. For manage our emotion, like I just mentioned about understanding, if we, first of all, if we have any reaction from our emotion, normally, we have that idea of that perceptions. Like, if, for example, when you look at the flower, you say, oh, flower is so ugly, and then you get upset, right? But in that time, you have to recognize your perception, to come back to yourself in that time, and, and take your time to look at the flower. And you have to change your perception about, the flower, because the flower is beautiful, and you have to take care of that, perception. In general, like, normally, I just, this is, like, the story when I was in Thailand, and then when I joke with brothers over there, and they say, oh, you two brothers, and when I say, oh yeah, today you eat a lot. And one brother, he laughed a lot. He did not feel anything about my joke. He was so happy about my joke. But another brother, he got upset. And because his, background, in the past, he said he did not have food to eat. That's why, whenever somebody joked that you eat a lot, and then he got, emotional. Yeah. To me, to take care of, our, like emotion, we have to recognize all the, perceptions in our mind. Yeah, to understand our perception, to make sure, if we have that unwholesome perception, just smile to that, perception, smile to that emotion, and recognize that, that's not true, and everything is beautiful, and everything is, like wholesome. And if you can, realize that, part in your practice, then whenever you get, emotional, you can come back to yourself and embrace your strong emotion, and then be with your strong emotion, and then and then slowly you can overcome that emotional. Yes, that is my sharing. Thank you for your question.
Maybe I just ask one more thing. I think I would like to share with all of you. I think that the practice to control your emotion is not mean when we wait emotion arrive, we practice. We should practice before that. So you train your mindfulness to be strong. Like people, they have the addict of coffee. Every day they have coffee at 8 o'clock, breakfast times. So this habit become the routine, the power. Yeah? So at that time, and then you remember to drink the coffee. So the practice mindfulness is the same. We need to practice mindfulness like a routine, You aware your mental formation. Even it's not, now you are normal, you are neutral feeling, neutral mental formation, but you also aware that breathing in, I am aware, I am neutral. I am no happy, I am no anger, I am no, everything. So when emotion arise, you will see it right away, you're aware. And you see breathing in, I am aware that I am anger. I am angry, sorry. Breathing out, I smile to my anger. So this is the practice. you train yourself before that, not only when emotion arise or your anger arise, you practice. It will be too late. Sometimes your emotion too strong, like a storm, can flow in your way, because you don't have anything there, the foundation. You don't have foundation of mindfulness, so your emotion will flowing you away. Some people, they don't practice at all, but when the accident comes to them, and they start to go to the monastery, church, or temple to pray. See? Or they can blame why it's happened to me. But before that, we never seen it. So this is also the habit energy. Like my habit energy, I know that my habit energy very strong. So I should practice to recognize the habit energy in me. Yeah. So do you understand? Yeah. Like when my teacher also talking about we accumulate the wood for the winter. So some people they store the wood. So when the winter come cold, they use the wood to warm the house. But not when the winter come, you collect the wood, it's too late. You need to collect the wood before the winter come. The same thing to practice. You need to practice before emotion or anger arise in you. You practice mindfulness every day. Yeah, diligent. At least 15 minutes meditation, or when you walk meditation, you practice mindfulness, walking meditation. So this is you train your mindfulness in your daily day. Not only when emotion arise, then you practice. Too late. So I just add this thing. Very important. Yeah. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Joshua. I'm with the law school here. And I understand that there's this emphasis on the present and being aware. And I was curious, in your experience, at least, so personally, we've been here for about 2 days. And so I guess I have this idea of what the state of mindfulness is. And sometimes the little radio in my head goes off. And I'm curious if there's a point in your practice in which there is no radio. Or should there be no radio? I'm being figurative. Should there be no radio? Yeah, pretty much that. Like, is there a point in which you have total control over mind?
There's like a difference. Like before we enjoy our meals, we also listen to the 5 contemplations, right? And there is a sentence that please turn off your radio station to enjoy your meal in mindfulness, right? And since like everyone have a automatic and always working radio in our head, and your question is, does the practice stop that radio or not, right? Yeah. And actually, the most important things in the practice is we don't force and don't make the pressure more into our mind. We just recognize it and let it be and let it go. During the meditation, I often practice like I am sitting here and I observe the river of my thinking. Because our head is always, the nature of the way they work is always thinking, jump up to something, this or that, yesterday or tomorrow, thousands of images, thousands of thoughts in just 30 seconds. And we are a practitioner. We're sitting on the bank of the river, and we observe the river floating in front of us, and we don't jump into the flow, don't jump into the river, because once you jump into the river, you are carried away by the emotional, by the feeling, by the flow of your thinking. And we just sit there and observe it. And slowly, when you can train your mindfulness energy to be stronger, then you will see it less thinking, it less than before. And you have to practice, you have to do it, then you will get the results. That is the whole process. Some people, they just take 5 days, 2 days, but some people, they have to take 5 years, 10 years to train their mind. It depends on how strong, how big their determination to the practice. And even though we practice very well every day, but here in our head, it still functions, it's still working like that. And every day we will choose the food that we eat. We choose the food that will nourish our speech, our mind, to nourish our life. Then what is flowing in the river will be changed into wholesome, beautiful, and meaningful. And for me, every day, at least, we have about 15 minutes to sit or to do something for ourselves, to nourish our mindfulness, to nourish our practice. We know that it's very easy for you to practice when you are here. Right away, when you arrive at the parking lot, you already feel at ease, easy to breathe, easy to do meditation. But when you come back to your daily life, so many things you have to take care of, so many things you have to think of, then you come back to the monkey mind. You come back to the jumping mind. That's why even though it's very busy outside there, but you want to choose the better way of living, as you invest more for yourself, 10 minutes, 15 minutes every day to do it. You can enjoy the sitting meditation or walking meditation, or even though you do the house task, you can also use that time to be mindful, to do it in mindfulness. You have to do it if you want to be a happier person. And I have one recommendation that you can establish for yourself a breathing corner at your home or your working desk. Just very small corner like this. But when you make a commitment to yourself that every time you come back to that place, it's a sacred place for you to be with yourself, to nourish yourself. You leave everything outside that corner. Just breathe peacefully, deeply. Because everyone needs something to nourish their soul, their mind first, to do everything, 1,000 tasks outside there. The important is your inner peace, your inner freedom. Then you have more energy, more courage to study, to work, to take care of your loved ones. That's my answer. I hope that you feel fulfilled with it. Thank you.
So, dear friends, I think we need only one more question. The last question.
Good morning, brother and sisters. I haven't been here in about 5 years, but this is my second time here just for a day trip, and I'm very grateful for my experiences then and now. In regards to gratefulness, I feel very often, much more recently, a lot of change in my life where I feel I have to live a more responsible life daily. And because of these responsibilities and just changes in my life, I often find myself being a lot more bitter, a lot more ambitious, but in a negative way, I find myself becoming. And I've been recently recommended to aim to be more grateful of an individual. And I find myself wondering, does gratefulness come from mindfulness, or does it come from something else in practice based off of your experiences and teachings?
So, dear respected Thai, dear venerables, dear friends, I don't know what's your name, Summons. So I think that everything needs to become from understanding. No, even though if you have any responsibility in your life, with anything you do for your life, you need to know why you're doing this and for what reason. So, like you know the way you're going, it's not like you're blind to go on the way. You need to know what you do, and you need to know why you're doing this. So this is like a blinded person. And someone told you to grateful for your responsibility, right? So if someone told you to do something, you need to understand why. For example, I just give an example, very simple. I am grateful to my parents because my parents give birth to me and nurture me to grow up. And they very nice to me. They love me. And so I'm grateful for them because they love me. So I understand why I'm grateful, because they are my parents. You know, very clearly. Some people said, why I have to grateful to my parents. When my father abused me, when my mother abused me, how come I am grateful to them? You know, when they did such a thing to me. But in the Buddhist teaching, the Buddha said, everything in this world we are grateful for. You know, even though your parents, they did bad to you, but because of them, you are present in this world, right? But because why they do the bad thing, why they did the bad thing? Because they are ignorance. If they have understanding, they never doing that. Because of ignorance, so they did the bad thing to them, their children. So if we understand that, then we can forgive the negative side of our parents. We still grateful to them. So, you know, people who know how to grateful to live in this world, that person still have happiness. If you without gratitude, that person is not like, they don't have the root. You know, without the gratitude, it's like the tree without root. The tree uproot. So many people, their life, their family, or their life not happy because they carry a lot of hatred, anger in them, because they carry the negative, the past, the negative path. They never forget because they don't have a chance to learn the Dharma, to learn the practice. So if we are lucky, we learn the practice, we learn the Dharma, we understand why for example, Thầy wrote his poem about please call me by my true name, you know that poem? He said we need to love the pirates. Why? Because they raped the girl on the sea. But why we love them? Because they was born in the situation without education, without money, poor. So the environment pushed them into that direction, the direction of hatred, anger, killing, and violence. But we are lucky. We are on the path of understanding. So why we do not love and gratitude? So I encourage you, young men, to transform your negative thinking. Because if we carry the negative mind in our mind, that means we carry the sickness in our mind. And the people got the cancer, you know why? Because they carry the negative and they feel in love. You know, so many people have cancer. They don't feel love. They carry a lot of negative hatred, anger. So it makes them sick. So we learn, because we are lucky, we learn the practice, we learn the Dharma, we have teacher, you know, we have someone show us the way. So they guide us the way to go the good direction, the right path. Yeah. So I just encourage you to transform your negative mind and grateful, continue to carry the grateful in you, and you learn to looking deeply into the reality, into the nature. Why we doing this? Why we doing that? You know, it's not like we do something with pride. When we do something, we know that we're doing this the right thing, right? So That is my answer your question. Yeah, you understand now? Yeah, thank you. And we would like to end the question and answer here. If you have any question, you can continue ask in your Dhamma sharing group because time is limited. But before end, I would like to share a few words with the group of students, also the guests coming for the Day of Mindfulness, that we are very grateful and happy to welcome the group student this week. And last week we have also another group student from Elderfield University. And our monastery very welcome on the student group to come because we think that you choose the right path. You know, you choose the spiritual path, not only the career path, not only learning engineer, computer engineer, physics engineer, PhD, or master something, but we also need the path of practice, spiritual path. The tree will be strong if you have many roots. The tree not strong if you have only one or two roots. So when you came to the practice, that means you open the root. You know, you have more root deep, grounded in the earth. So your tree will be strong. When you graduate in your school, you go to the life, you get a job, you do the work, and you may encounter many difficulties in your career, in your life. And the spiritual part, the practice part, will rescue you, will show you the way, the path to go out of the difficulty. So that's why the brother and sister here, we are very grateful and happy to welcome all the students come to our monastery for the practice. So thank you very much for your listening and give the question to us. Thank you. So now we listen to three sound the bell to end the session of question and answer.
So dear friends, now we will stand up and to bow and spread our gratitude to the Dharma teacher here who give very concrete and helpful answer. And then we will sit down again for some short announcements for today. Thank you. So dear friends, can you sit down again for